Hello all, I'm Sai and you're watching The Book Dragon. In today's video, I'm bringing to you my top 10 favorite non-fiction reads from 2020. I did manage to read a lot more of non-fiction books last year rather than the years that I've read before, and I should say that reading non-fiction books more than I normally read has made me better as a person in many ways. I have felt that personally. I don't know if other people were able to see that or not, but when I sat down and reflected on myself and my actions throughout the year, I was able to find that I have become better in various different facets in my life, and I do owe all those things to reading non-fiction and self-help books in specific. So in this video I'll be talking about my top 10 favorite non-fiction books. They are in no particular order except for the last 3 books which I'll be talking about in the video. They are my top 3 non-fiction reads of 2020, and if you want to know those books, please do stay on until the end, because if you decide to read just 3 non-fiction books in this year, that is 2021, I'd highly recommend you to try those 3 books because they just shaped me better as a person in many ways. So without any further ado, let's get into the list now. The first book in the list is Who Will Cry When You Die by Robin Sharma. Now this is a self-help book by Robin Sharma, who's one of the best self-help gurus out there. He's a personal development mentor for many famous personalities in the world. After reading Who Will Cry When You Die, I was able to understand why his books are so famous, because they are very practical. Okay, while reading the book, it might seem that all these things are really overwhelming, and it might even seem like certain things that he says are shallow, but when you concentrate on each and every point that he says to a deeper extent, you will be able to understand how much practical and how much very much possible it is to do all those things. In this book, Who Will Cry When You Die, he talks about 100 different things that you can do in order to make your state of mind more peaceful and continue a better life and make your life better for yourself and for the people, those who are living around you. I'm sure that not every person in the world can do all the 100 things that he says about in this book. It's also a very tiny book. You can just read it within like a week or so if you read it very slowly. I read this within a couple of days, which was very amazing. It inspired me in many ways. Okay, I read this way back in Jan 2020, and I should say that there are certain tips which I did take from this book. I was not able to take away all the 100 points that he said, but I took like 5 or 6 points and did continue to do them throughout the year, and they did make a very positive difference in my life. So if you want to try certain really simple things that you can very easily do, then go forward and read this. And I also have a Tamil video on this book in this channel, so if you can understand Tamil, please go and check that out. I've talked about 10 of the 100 things that I found very useful from that book, and I think that will be helpful for you also. The next book in the list is The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. Now this is one of those self-help books which is like totally way too famous. Okay, and when I got into this book, I thought that it is very much overhyped, and I was just getting into the book in order to see what's that great about it, and end up not liking it that much. But I should say I listened to most of these books in audio. That's why I'm putting up the covers here. I was just like 10 minutes into the audiobook, and I was just so much hooked on it because the author has narrated it herself. The processing of this audiobook is itself really good, so I'd highly recommend you to listen to the audiobook. It's also very short, 4 to 5 hours in length, which is very small for any book if you ask me when it comes to the audiobook format. The secret that Rhonda Byrne talks about in this book in order to make your life better is the law of attraction, and how the law of attraction can be made to work in your life in a very everyday basis. First, I thought that there are many things that are going to be in this one which are repetitive, but there is only one thing that is repetitive, which is the law of attraction. That is the whole point of this book. Okay, the author talks about many illustrative stories for us in order to understand how the law of attraction can work and how it can backfire if you put out negative thoughts into this world. It was a really inspirational book and motivating book to read. If you are a person who feels that you are hopeless right now, I'd highly recommend you to try this one, because this is one of those books which will fill you with positivity and hope, and it will make your life better in some way or the other. The next one in the list is Tuesdays with Morrie by Mitch Albom. This is a book written by Mitch Albom based on the story of one of his old school teachers named Mr. Morrie. And the thing about Mr. Morrie is that he's very old now. He's in his late 70s and 80s, late 70s and early 80s while this book takes place, and it is the story of Dr. Morrie, Mr. Morrie itself. It's kind of a biography of Professor Morrie written by Mitch Albom, and I should say this is one book which will make you feel a lot of grateful for a lot of things that we all take for granted in our life. I should say that after reading this book, I thought that there are multiple things which I have, and I am not at all acknowledge them in many ways. They might be very small minute things, but after reading this one, I was able to understand how much we just neglect to even acknowledge those things, and how we don't appreciate even those small things which can make like huge differences in our life. And it is one book which will definitely make you see the positive side of life no matter what. The thing about Professor Mori in this one is that he has had a nervous disorder which has caused like most of his body to have paralyzed. He'll not be able to do any physical movement except talking without the help of others. And even at that stage, he does not give up his willpower and his positive attitude at all, and he makes the life of the people around him very very much positive and very much better while he is in such an agonizing state physically. It is one book which will make you feel sad and motivated at the same time, and it will make you appreciate all the things that you have in life. The next in the list is not a particular book, and it is an author who's Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy is one of the personal development gurus out there, and he's also one of those pioneers in this particular field. If you ask me, it is very much evident from his work. Okay, if you read any of his books, I've read most of his books like negotiation, time management, and how to say conducting meetings which get results, and Eat That Frog was his best book that I've read this year. And I also think that it's a good blend of all the other books in that series that he has written. I'm definitely going to read a lot more of Brian Tracy books this year because they have helped me in many ways. There are certain how to say overlaps between the various books within that particular category, but I do think that they are very much effective in many ways. In each and every book he talks about 21 techniques or methods that you can implement in your daily life just from this instant itself, and they will have some kind of positive impact in that particular topic in which he is talking about in your life. And I have found that helpful in many ways. There was this particular book which I applied a lot when it comes to meetings this year. That is the meetings which get results. I was asked to conduct a small meeting in my office, okay, for work. Since we are all working from home, it was a virtual meeting, and it was the first time that I was told to organize a meeting. I didn't have any idea. Thankfully, I had just listened to this book for like 2 or 3 days back from then, and it just felt like a learning opportunity for me, and I did apply certain things that were said in this one while organizing that meeting, and it did turn out pretty much successful and well. And I do think that all these things when applied will definitely benefit us in many ways. Do go and try out Brian Tracy's books, and also there's a YouTube channel that is hosted by Brian Tracy himself. Do follow that also, because I didn't know that until the end of last year, that is 2020, and it is very much useful. Do go and try those videos out. If you're a person who's more visual rather than just an audible listener or audio listener, or a person who can read and imbibe things, at least go and try subscribing to the channel and watch those videos. The next one in the list is The Quick and Easy Way to Effective Speaking by Dale Carnegie. I read this book all the way back in June, that is exactly halfway through the year. I started it in January, and I was reading it very slowly on and off, and I finished reading it by the end of June, that is on the 30th of June to be specific. I also do have a specific video depending on how to say, based on the things that I learned from this book, like 10 techniques which I did learn from this, which were like very much useful. I also talked about certain personal experiences of mine when it comes to public speaking, and how I did manage doing a lot better, especially in college and in the first year of work, after which we all got stuck in home most probably. And this was a really good book. Okay, if you're a person who's struggling to speak in public places in front of a lot of different people, do go and check this out, because it's a really short book. It will take quite a bit of time to read, because it is very huge when it comes to the concept. I think that Dale Carnegie has gone into each and every specific detail that you have to keep in mind and concentrate on if you're frightened of speaking in public. Also, this is mainly because speaking in public is the thing which most people in the world fear the most, even more than facing death, because the embarrassment that it can bring if you think that you're doing something wrong is very much huge, and it is very much legitimate. So if you have to bring yourself out of that fear and put yourself out there in an even more comprehensible manner, then you'll have to read this book, because it was very useful for me. And do take your time and read this slow, because there are a lot of concepts that are said in this one which might be overwhelming if you read them fast, and you'll not be able to grasp them that easily. Do take your time and read that slowly, because it will help you a lot. Next one in the list is a book on personal finance, and it is very much beginner friendly, because I have not read any other books in that specific category when it comes to self-help books or non-fiction books. So I just picked this up because I thought I heard that it is very much beginner friendly, and it is The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason. I should say that for the name that it has to be a classic nonfiction, it is very much worth it, because this book has been out here for almost over a century, and I should say that the things that are said in this book are very, very much legitimate, and they will remain the same for like many, many years to come also, because it just talks about the basic concepts of handling money. Okay, I think that even children who are studying in 8th or 9th grade can easily read this and understand what the author is trying to tell you in order to save your money and make it multiply. The concept of multiplying your money, making your money multiply itself, is not that greatly focused in this one, but how you can control the unwanted expenses that you do in your life, and how you can find out where your money goes in a way where you don't have that much knowledge about. It's very much easily said in this one, and I can say that it talks about various lessons, how to say, by telling us stories, and the author has made a really, really awesome job of representing all those things. It's also kind of a historical fiction, so if you're a history geek, you will definitely love this, because while reading a historical story, you're also going to get a takeaway at the end of each and every chapter, and it is very much useful in every way. You can also read this very, very quickly. The speed in which you read this will not at all affect your rate of comprehension, like when it comes to the quick and easy way to effective speaking, because if you read that fastly, you might miss out on certain points, but I'm sure that if you read this fast or slow, you'll be able to take all the points that the author is trying to say in the same way. The next one in the list is Attitude is Everything by Jeff Keller. I also have a video on the top 10 takeaways that I got from Attitude is Everything in this channel. This book actually has 10 to 12, I think it has 12 chapters. Each chapter runs to a maximum of 10 pages, and it's just 120 pages long. Okay, for a book about positive attitude, it's a book of a short length but a lot more scope. I should say that it can easily change your mindset in many, many ways. The author actually totally talks about a positive attitude and the effect that it can have on your life. It's very much similar to the law of attraction, but rather than talking about the positive vibrations and thoughts that you leave into the world, it talks about the positive attitude that you have to have in order to make yourself better. Okay, there's no way you're going to think negative about yourself and make your life positive. That's very well clearly explained by the author in this one, and I do think that this book has the capacity to change a lot of lives. Also, I'm sure that everyone might have seen this quote everywhere. Attitude is Everything is not just a book, it's actually a brand of Jeff Keller himself, and he just talks about most of his personal experiences of how having a positive attitude, even during very much down times in his life, changed his life very, very greater in many, many ways. When it comes to his professional career as well as his personal life, he just talks about all those things in a very vague way. He doesn't go in depth with anything, but he lets us know what we want to know in order to make us understand the power of having a positive attitude, and I did like that a lot from this book. Moving on to the top 3 non-fiction books that I read in 2020. At number 3 we have The 5 AM Club by Robin Sharma. I'm sure that this is the most famous work of Robin Sharma after The Man Who Sold His Ferrari. I have not read that book yet, but I did think that this will have a lot of things which I can resonate with and relate to. That's one of the main reasons why I took this. The special thing and a very easy thing about this book is that it is huge. Okay, it is very, very huge. It's nearly 400 pages long, and the size of the paperback is also big, so obviously that's a lot of content put into this one. Robin Sharma has actually worked on this book for 4 years, and it's very much evident from the work that he has done into it. He actually tells us the benefits of waking up and having a 5 AM routine, and how it can very well easily change your life. Personally, I was early riser until the pandemic started. Okay, my work starts around at 9 AM, and it is quite a long travel from my house, so I usually wake up at 5 AM every day, between 4:45 AM and 5 AM. That was my daily routine, and after the pandemic it just got changed because I got to stay in the house, and I thought of taking a rest, and it just became a habit. But after reading this one, I just understood certain things which he said, and I was able to relate with them a lot. Especially when it came to school and college, I was always an early riser. Okay, when I was in school, from the 9th grade to 12th grade, I used to wake up at 3:45 AM every day, and from 4 to 6 I'd just sit and study. That was my peace hour. Okay, I will be able to concentrate a lot more during that time. The reasons of why I was able to concentrate more on that time was explained a lot in this one. I have not thought about it, and I didn't know how I was able to concentrate a lot more in the morning compared to the later hours in the day. It was clearly shown in this one, and I just wish that I was able to know all those things in that age itself, but I didn't know. But better late than never, right? So I did learn a lot of things from this one. If you're going to read just 3 non-fiction books this year in 2021, let this be one of your books. Take it slow and read it slowly, and I'm sure that you will thank me after reading this, and you'll definitely thank Robin Sharma for having written this. At number 2, we have The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. While I got into this book, I didn't think that I will end up liking this book a lot, and I would start applying the things that the author says in this book for such a great extent in my life. Okay, I bought this book in May, I think. Yeah, sorry, August, and I don't know when I finished reading it, in August or in September. But I do say that this book had a really very positive impact in my life. Okay, I think that rather than all the other self-help books that I've read, this book just kept on coming to my mind like an echo. There are certain quotes in this one which I have highlighted, and I do remember them like brain tattoos a lot easily, because they are very, very, very positive. Okay, even when you think that you have read how you have hit rock bottom, there are certain lines in this book which will just make you think that okay, we are in rock bottom. It's not that tough to get from rock bottom to the place where we were easily. And that's one of the main things which I consider that I need while reading self-help books, because I'm going to read self-help mainly because I'm a person who might get burnt out, because I do a lot of work and I try to do it in the best way that I can, and there are like multiple instances during times when it doesn't end out very well, and it doesn't get the recognition that I think that it should get, and there are certain things which has to keep me going on, right? And this book was one of such things which just kept me going on despite the fallbacks that I had last year, and it proved to be very, very, very helpful. It improved my mental state in a really positive way, and I do think that while reading this book you should go in with a positive mind. Okay, you should go in with a positive mind and with an open mind, ready to accept what the author is trying to say. You should sit down and listen and try to understand what the author is trying to say, rather than just directly going into the defense mode. Because if I had gone in without an open mind, I'm sure that I would have gone on defense mode, and I would have not tried to even understand what the author is trying to say. And I do think that since I went in with an open mind, I was able to grasp and learn a lot of things what the author was trying to say, and they did prove to be very, very helpful, and it did change 2020 in a very much positive way for me. Finally, at number 1, we don't have any self-help book, but it's a non-fiction biography, autobiography if you will, or a memoir. I'm sure that if you've been following me for quite a while now, you know what book I'm going to talk about, and it is This Is Going to Hurt by Adam Kay. This is about Adam Kay's life as a junior doctor while he was practicing medicine. Okay, and he gave up medicine due to certain things which he was not able to handle, and it doesn't feel like it doesn't make you angry at all for a person giving up on medicine. Okay, the things that he describes made me empathize a lot more with doctors. I was a person who wanted to get into the medical field, but due to like multiple reasons I was not able to get into it. It's not a problem now. This book just made me understand how much it takes to be a doctor, and the people whom we see as doctors, we just think that they do their work, they earn a lot of money, they have an awesome life, but behind the work that they do, what is the amount of mental pressure that they have to handle? Okay, and if something goes wrong, how it can turn the tables for them, and how from being such a successful person they can go downhill very, very easily. Even if they are very much successful, what are all the things that they have to see and experience on a very daily basis? Okay, the things which we consider as trauma, we normal people consider as trauma, that is actually the routine life of these people when it comes to a profession. And it made me respect doctors a lot more than I used to. I'm a person who does respect doctors a lot, because I have seen doctors doing a lot of things for my family, even though they are paid. It is their profession, right? So I don't think that without that passion and compassion you have for doing certain stuff, you cannot do them well. And I have seen really good doctors in my life personally, and this book just felt like a thank you that I gave to those doctors by reading it. And I do think that every person in this world needs to read this and try to understand what are the things that the doctors are going through, so that we all get better in some way or the other. Especially I read this also during the peak of the pandemic in Chennai, and it did make me empathize a lot more with doctors. And I made a video for this one also. I named it like a dedication to the doctors or something, I don't remember properly, but it was such a good book, and that's one of the main reasons why it's at number 1 in this list. Okay guys, so those were all my top 10 non-fiction books that I read in 2020, and I hope to read a lot more in 2021 as well, and I do hope that I'll be able to read even better books than the books that I read last year. And that's it for today. If you did find this video enjoyable, interesting and useful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it to your friends. If you want to get more content from me, do subscribe to the channel because I publish new videos every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.